Subscribe and press the bell icon to enjoy more exciting and enlightening videos from the here.
Thank you everyone for joining us today for this webinar on learning styles. We will be discussing various learning styles that exist and the advantages of knowing what style we possess. Also tips on how we can make this our advantage while learning and help ourselves enhance the other learning styles if required. So let me introduce you to our dear mentor and presenter of this webinar, Rija ma'am. Rija ma'am have been working in various industries like BPO, ITS and retail for the last 18 years and have made her career mostly in managing people. She takes a lot of pride in her experience where she was able to impact leadership skills and mentor her team to perform well both in professional and personal fronts when faced with challenges. She have done her graduation in Environmental Science, Delhi University and also in fashion industry, Pearl Academy of Fashion. So thank you so much Richa ma'am for taking this webinar for us and I'm sure we are going to learn a lot of things from you. So over to you ma'am.
Thank you so much, Preeti. And I'm sorry, I see a few of you guys have joined. I'm sorry for the technical issue, but currently I'm on my laptop and my phone. So please bear with me. Thank you for joining on a Saturday morning, John and Utkarsha. I appreciate you guys are putting in some time to listen to what I have to tell each one of you. So we can start. Preeti, would you be able to display the presentation? Thank you. So yes, what I want to talk about today is about learning styles. Now, this is something which probably we all know at the back of our heads as a very common knowledge, something that we all understand. But I think till about 2006, we did not really have too many conversations or we did not have it categorized into four main divisions in terms of how we learn. Now, before I talk about how we are going to understand about this, let me tell you, learning is something that we do almost all the time in our life. It never really ends. Even for me currently, while I joined the Dheya team, there is a lot that I have learned and I'm continuously learning. One of the aspects that we are trying to do today is to talk about how we learn, keeping in mind 80% of what I'm going to talk about is about your kids, students, how our children learn, how we learn, and even if we have some teachers on the call or if you know some teachers, how these learning styles affect the way we behave, affect the way we conduct daily lives. So let me talk about the learning styles. Now we have four very basic divisions of how we learn. 65% of course of that is visual, and I think I'll give you an example. I don't know if you connect to that, but if somebody is coming and telling me about something that happened to them at home or something their kids did or something that they did, I generally start imagining that visually. I actually start looking at it like in my mind, like a dream. So I'm also a very visual learner. So we have four main styles. We have the visual, we have the auditory, reading, writing, and kinesthetic. Now, this is a model that I'm going to talk to you very soon about. Fleming in 2006 is who put this forward for all of us to understand this better. So you will see that we have visual, like I talked about, 65% of us are very visual learners, followed by auditory, reading, writing, and kinesthetic. Let me also say that none of these are dominant styles, okay? Even if I say 65% of us learn by visual, that may be a dominant style, but you may have another style that is required for you to understand that you don't have currently, but how to enhance. So this conversation, what I'm trying to tell you is, first we realize what our style is, and then we realize what are the different ways of learning styles that do exist that probably we need to hone on, because sometimes it's not possible that always we will have a visual learning. And I can tell you, for instance, sometimes we have oral exams. Some of our kids do very well, some of us do very well, and some of us don't. So we need to understand how do we learn to go through probably an oral exam, probably something that requires us to remember a lot of things like a history exam, like numbers, and all of us go through those. And I will try and probably tell you how we can understand our dominant styles, what are the other styles available, and how to go about them. I hope this is going to be as learning for all of you as it was for me while I made this up. On the slide 3, I'm going to talk about the understanding of these. So as you can read very clearly, what I've put through is what are the basic characters of these styles. For instance, visual, we learn from a lot of images and maps and graphic. I can give you an example. Whenever there was a very difficult biology or a chemistry sum or something that I had to learn, I used to put it up in a chart or a format or a flow chart manner where I will remember how this flows. So that when I'm writing, I have the story in my head through visual, followed by auditory. Now, these are few of us that learn through understanding new content through speaking, like in lectures, like in discussions, audio files. There are, if you see, one of the examples is a lot of us now have audio files available for books. So if you don't have time, what you just need to do is just put a CD onto your, recorder, or you can just put in your earphones and listen to a story. Listen to probably a lot of TED Talks, etc. You're a very auditory person and you are able to connect better. So that also happens. That is the auditory kind of learning. Read and write. Now, this is something that I did a lot myself too. The preference is that everything that they learn, they write it down. Like they love to take notes about everything and are able to translate abstract concepts into words and essays. So basically, you give them one word and they'll be able to write a lot about it. A lot of people have that ability. Those people are read and write dominant style of learning. Then we have kinesthetic, hands, the practicality. You have to take them out. You have to have those games done. They have to touch that ball or they have to touch those toys to understand how this learning is done. So that is another style. And it's all put together in a model called VARK, VARK, of course, the exponential being visual, auditory, read and write, and kinesthetic. Like I said, Fleming and Baum had made this into a concept in 2006, and that's when we started dividing it and using it as a concept of learning styles. I will be talking a lot about this in my future slides, and I will also tell you a few tips of what we can do about these, of the styles we have and of the styles you would want to enhance. But first, what we need to understand is what style do we have? Now, I have mentioned a couple of links under, if you guys can see. It's called the VARK questionnaire. If you guys can go ahead and take this questionnaire to understand what kind of a style do you guys possess. What is the kind of style that you dominantly currently have? So this is a very good test. I've done it myself. This is not going to take more than 5 to 10 minutes, and you will see how you're going to understand what style of learning that you all will have. I would recommend that you do this. It can be for you, it can be for your kids. So this can be done to understand what kind of style we are talking about. Now, why? Again, for us to understand what is our preferential style, or our kids or the students, what is the preferential style, is very important, because you will realize some kids who are very adept with the visual learning, they will learn certain way when a teacher is very, they are able to explain everything on the chart, everything is made into a diagram, so you will be able to. And in online, I have seen a lot of teachers are using boards now. It significantly affects the way we learn, and hence the behavior, and hence it will affect the way we will be able to make our kids or ourselves learn a certain concept better. So firstly, we have to realize what style it is, and then we have to understand this is how it's going to help us enhance the way we learn. Okay, so going further on, academically, so it does help us in a lot of ways. Academically, it helps us professionally, personally, and a few pointers that I have put down for us to read is it gives us a lot of head start when it comes to how we are going to learn this concept, enables us to succeed, do better in our schools and colleges and our offices, gives you, we know the customized technique we need to use, allows us to learn our way. What are your limitations, and then how to overcome them. Do you reduce, of course, the stress and frustration, because if you didn't know that you were a visual person or a read and write person or a kinesthetic person, you probably will struggle and then probably blame yourself and say, I'm not able to get this. But this makes you realize you're not able to get this because probably the way we are learning has to be enhanced or has to be changed. And of course, this is how we expand the way we learn. That's how we will expand to understand how we be able to pick up this better. Personally, of course, it increases your self confidence, your image. You are able to train your brain better. You understand your own insights of strengths and weaknesses, and your learning process gets better. You also get inspired greatly in terms of how you will be able to then grasp things, and then you are able to understand how I'm going to do this better. So I think in every way, it's a very positive movement if you understand your style. Professionally, of course, very similar. It guides you in an effective manner. You know what are the things that professionally now you can do, how you can do them effectively. And of course, in case you are in persuasive sales skills, etc., you will know what are your plus points. Further on, like I said, please, I've also mentioned another link that I found out on Google where you can test your learning styles. It's also a very easy quiz. This mostly is for the kids, the one that you see here, which says studying style. These are for the students. So if you know any students that would want to test this, to understand this, please recommend this one. This is much more simpler for them to understand. Now, let me talk a little about each of these learners. I will also be talking about some tips on how to improve it. For instance, let me tell you, like I said initially, 65% of us are visual learners. Most of us are. And the characteristics include you love to read books, magazines. You relate best to written information, notes and diagrams, flashcards. You like to highlight, you like to have a pen and paper handy always to make it visually the way you write, the way that information has been given. You like learning through visually enhanced reading material. You have trouble with long lectures. You tend to be very detail oriented and are usually organized and tidy. These are a few characteristics that I'm putting. It is not, very important that you will all have these characteristics, but most of them. Similarly, a few suggestions. If you are a visual learner, write things down. I do that. One of the things I always do during my training, during my any new learning, even, when I am trying to take down a recipe or learn something, I always take it down. You jot down the key points, copy what's on the board, sit near the front of the classroom to see the instructions very clearly. Write the keywords, I do that. I actually highlight them. You make lists, you watch videos, use flashcards. And, one of the things that does not work out for visual people is when they have to listen and respond, because it's a very auditory method. So you struggle during that time. So you will struggle in this area, and you do not have to be upset about it, because that's how your learning style is. Similarly, auditory learners. Now these make the 30%, the second biggest chunk after the visual. Now some of the characteristics. They are very talkative in the class, relate mostly effectively to spoken word. And the moment I said talkative, my daughter looks at me. I know she is a very auditory learner. Unless heard, information has less relevance. So these people have to keep listening. I mean, they can do something, they can be playing with something or doing something, but if they can listen to the information, that's good for them. They're very good listeners, and they, grasp those kind of information very well. They enjoy discussion and debates, follow oral directions better than the written ones, tend to memorize well, prefer listening to news, remember names, notice sound effects in movies. I'm telling you, these people have a very effective way of grasping information and keeping it. They are not visual, but they're very auditory. Some suggestions for people who are auditory: use audio tapes for learning. These people do very well. I have seen a lot of people who learn languages through auditory. I unfortunately absolutely cannot, but there are some people who do it so beautifully well there. Though this really relates to those kind of people. They read aloud so that they can hear it themselves. Repeat facts with eyes closed. They ask questions, describe aloud what is to be remembered. They watch videos, listen to tape notes, use audiobooks. So you get the theme. It's all very audio related, and what you hear is what matters to them and what they will remember. Reading comprehension exercises is where they struggle. I will not say one of the bad points, but that's one of the areas that auditory people have to concentrate on. That's where we will struggle. Similarly, tactile kinesthetic learners, 5% of our population, they absorb a lot of information through experiments. These are the people who learn outside, who are able to have a very experimental, physical touch and feel for them to learn. So So this is how they learn. They enjoy feeling discovery and action. They remember by using tools, building models, and manipulating the tools. Learn through emotions, touch, movement. They enjoy demonstrations of concept. Master skills through imitation and practice. Find it difficult to sit still for a long period of time because they're very emotionally, they're very feel and touch kind of a people. They have to be in places. So you cannot expect them to be sitting in one place. They generally, will be weaker in spellings because they do not read and write too much. They are very kinesthetic kind of a people, but they will remember. So this is one of the last ones. Now suggestions for these kind of people would be: create a model. Try to put everything down in front of you in a way where you can make it very effectively, where they can see it. Practice a technique, participate in simulations, engage in hands-on activities, study in comfortable position, not necessarily sitting. So these people do very well in multiple choice, short definitions, fill in the blanks kind of a thing because it's short. I think these are very short span patients kind of a person. And of course, one of the worst tests would be the long essay test that they'll have to read and, then answer those questions. These people generally have to go back a lot of times to answer. So this is very less percentage, but if you know your style, of course, like I said, you can help yourself. I will also give you tips on the help. So like I was talking about, SWOT here means study without tears. This really means these are the tips that this kind of learning style people should do to help yourselves. For example, visual SWOT strategies would be: utilize graphic organizers such as charts, graphs, and diagrams, redraw your pages from memory, replace important words with symbols or initials, highlight important key terms in corresponding colors. I have done all this. It really works. Oral SWOT technique would be: record your summarized notes and listen to them on tape. Okay, for the oral SWOT strategies, record your summarized notes and listen to them on tape. Like I said, everything auditory. If you can talk out loud the lessons and what you're trying to learn, have discussions and with others to expand upon your memory, etc. You can also, of course, for the read and write, everything that you learn, read it aloud. And this is very close to how, you will remember a lot of things. Organize your diagrams and charts and you will be able to remember them. Kinesthetic, of course, use real life examples, applications, and case studies in your summary to help with abstract concepts. This is going to be not a concept currently in our schools, to be very honest. Not many schools have picked this up because of the percentage of people or the kids that we will have. But this really helps the parents to understand how our kids' learning style is, and you can help. Utilize pictures and photographs that illustrate your idea. And one of my main points here is for the parents. A lot of us are parents here. We will be able to understand how we can help our child. So if you can see, I have also mentioned how a parent can help in this concept. Firstly, of course, when we learn about how the learning style of our child is, we will pick up on those aspects and we will understand why certain things work and don't work for a kid. We need to understand what are the habits and what are the special qualities, and then understand how to teach. We should encourage our kids for the strengths that they have. And I think one of the concepts here and here we encourage. Work on the strengths, because through there you will be able to reach the success matter or the results that you are looking for. You should drop false expectations of how each child needs to study or learn. And this is something we have to do. We all have very different ways of learning. I hope, someday our schools all also picked up this concept, and we are trying to even do this conversations with schools for them to understand there are various learning patterns that we need to understand we have. Do not compare, if you have more than one kid, they not necessarily will have the same learning pattern. So understand the difference and try to use the positives to teach or to push for a better learning for your child. In general, parents should be encouraging the awareness of this learning styles among other parents, teachers, and the school system to understand that not all of us learn the same way. I have put together a few positives that if you will be able to see as a parent, as a teacher, as a student for yourself. All this helps in the end in the way you approach learning, your confidence, the way you will be able to enhance the way you currently learn. And it's not a very difficult concept, for me it's a very common knowledge kind of a concept, but because we do not talk about it, we do not put it forward to understand how it works, we really don't know how it's going to enhance the way it is. I would encourage you try, you understand, and when you are able to see that, and even people who are working, your teams, you will be able to see that your teams will be able to understand it better. You will be able to see they will be able to relate to what you're trying to talk about better if you know how they understand every concept. That is, if you are trying to teach them something new, there is a new update that this person learns this way, there are a few people who are missing out. You at least are going to know that what and how you will be able to enhance and do the work better for your own self and your team. So, I think as of now, what I talked about is mostly about how you can enhance your learning, what are the various learning styles, and why they are important. I've also put together a few FAQs for us to read, and I will read out each of these because these are some very generic questions I had myself when I was learning about this concept. What is the most effective learning style, you may ask? 39% of the respondents had one strong learning preference. The most common unimodal preference was kinesthetic, followed by visual, auditory, read and write. The most preferred teaching methodology and practical dissection, etc., was 39%, and tutorial was the least preferred one, 12%. So, there is something that we still have to pick up as a educational system, because we still are a very fixed way of learning kind of schools. We have to understand what we need to change there. What does learning style mean? Learning style can be defined, classified, and identified in many different ways. Generally, they are overall patterns that provide direction on learning and teaching. Learning styles can also be described as a set of factors, behaviors, and attitudes that facilitate learning for an individual in a given situation. How can learning style affect learning? Now, like I said, firstly, it affects your behavior the moment you know what it is all about. Learning styles indicate your preferred method of learning. Some people learn best by seeing information in the form of visual representation and paragraphs, some by listening, some by touching. How amazing it would be if we are able to know what the style is going to be. I think that's what is the key. What do auditory learners struggle with? They may talk a lot and interrupt others. They remember names better than faces. Noise and music is very distracting, and they don't benefit as much as other learners from pictures or practical activity. Auditory learner often work in areas such as writing, journalism, teaching, law, language, and speech pathology. So I think, isn't it so much more easier if you knew you're an auditory learner and how and which fields you will do well if you knew? Of course, in 1984 is when the learning style was invented by David Knob, but of course, WARC model came in much later in 2006, where we currently are basing all our conversations on. Fleming and Bob, I think, were the people who invented the WARC model that I have expanded and spoken about in our conversation today. How do kinesthetic learners learn best? Kinesthetic learners are natural doers. They learn best when they process information while being physically active or engaged. They tend to learn best when they are physically active or through learning activities that involve active participation. And let me tell you, there are a lot of schools right now who actually do that, who actually have a lot of kinesthetic learning where they take the kids out for practical learning, like they take them to the parks to learn about trees and the biology. They take them to the supermarkets, and I know because all the kids are taken out for all these exhibitions and shows and etc. now, because a lot of us learn by that, by seeing, by looking at it. So there are a lot of learning techniques that our schools are currently using, but I feel to understand what basic learning techniques the kids have may give some light to each one of us to understand what we need to improve on. So I would want to hear from each one of you if you have any questions. So I'm going to mute myself because I will not be able to otherwise hear you. And I'm going to unmute my laptop so that if anybody has any questions or any conversations that you would want to have, I'll open it up for all of us.
Hello, ma'am. So I request our attendees, if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to drop the questions in the chat box. You can just drop it in the Q&A section.
I don't think anybody has question. I'm hoping that this was understandable and everybody got what I was trying to say.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So Preeti, I don't think anybody has any questions. I would like to thank everyone who joined the session today, and thank you for making time on a Saturday to listen to the learning webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the wonderful webinar. Thank you so much for joining us to do this amazing webinar. I'm sure everyone is going to benefit from this webinar, and I request our attendees and people who have registered for the webinar to check the webinar on YouTube. It will be uploaded soon. So once it is uploaded, we will share the link with you through email. So thank you so much and stay tuned. And thank you, ma'am, for doing this wonderful webinar. I'm sure it is going to help everyone. Thank you so much.